Copa Combate MMA. This is a unique concept. It will be November 11th, and it will be the first live broadcast of MMA by Telemundo. Right now we have the Combate America CEO, Campbell McLaren, who's also co-founder of UFC. Very strong component of Combate is Mr. McLaren. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Copa Combate MMA and the thought process of bringing this all together and whose idea was it. And thank you so much, Campbell. Give us some background on Copa Combate and also Copa Combate MMA.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me on. That was a great intro. I would say, yes, this is the first time Telemundo's had an MMA on. And, of course, the English language feed will be on NBC Sports Network as well, NBCSN. So they have done MMA, but it's the first time for Telemundo. It's actually pretty amazing. Our TV distribution will be live in Mexico, live throughout South America on ESPN, and then tape delayed in Spain just because of the time difference. So we believe this is unique because it is the first time that MMA has ever been shown live to the entire Spanish-speaking population of the world. We literally are on every country in North and South America live, and Spain, and not quite live, pretty live, but just because of the time difference, it won't be live there. But we think that's very cool. You said this was a unique concept, and Copa Combate is unique in the sense that it's the first ever MMA World Cup style competition, 8 countries represented. But what's not unique is, of course, we're doing it the same night that I launched UFC 1 24 years ago. And it was the tournament that brought Royce Gracie into prominence. And, this time it's 8 fighters all representing a different country. Back then, it was 8 fighters all representing a different style of the martial arts. Because UFC 1 was not mixed martial arts. It was martial art versus martial art. So it was sumo versus jiu-jitsu versus kempo karate versus boxing. And in some ways, that's what we've recreated here. But rather representing a fighting style like sumo, we are representing the different countries, U.S., Mexico, Colombia, Spain, Puerto Rico, Argentina. Did I say Colombia? And, each fighter comes in not only anxious to win the money, because it's $100,000, they're coming in really for national pride. It's a chance to say the baddest man on the planet is from Mexico or the U.S. or Colombia. We've been getting ready to announce the matchups. The thing about a tournament is you really don't know what's going to happen. You're going to see 3 fights in one night. A fighter has to win 3 fights. And it's not just that he has to win 3 fights. He has to face 3 separate opponents. And that's just what's so epic and legendary about the tournament. You really don't know what's going to happen. And I had my whole fight team on, and including Micah Framowitz, that along with Scott Coker started Strikeforce, and Mike started Invicta, World Series of Fight, and Eduardo Vargas, who's very well known in the fight community and has been mixed in with Gilbert Melendez camp for years, and Nick DeLee Rivera, who's I believe the only woman fight director of an international fight organization, and she was a fighter under Misha Tate. So my fight team is really knowledgeable, and we were all looking at this and just going, "Wow, we have no idea who the winner's going to be." In fact, I said, "Look, this is not a gambling thing at all, but if anyone can figure out what's going to happen, I will buy you and a guest dinner at the most expensive restaurant in any town you want." Because this is so unpredictable. Experts don't know. Because ultimately, it comes down to how much heart that fighter has to go through 3 opponents to win.
Well, Campbell, mentioning some of the people you mentioned on the team, was it one person's idea with this? Was it a group collaboration to do this type of event?
The idea of recreating UFC 1 tournament style was my idea. And I think year, the company's expansion and growth is sort of the reason we decided to do the Copa format. 1 year ago, we were on in the U.S., but we were not yet on in Mexico. We went on in Mexico for the first time in January. We went on in South America for the first time in April. We went on in Spain for the first time in July. And we're killing it in the ratings. In Mexico, we are literally doing 10 times the ratings that the UFC does. And our ratings were so big, I actually hired Nielsen, the very famous ratings analysis company, to look at it because I almost didn't believe the results we were getting. 10 times the UFC's ratings in Mexico, double the UFC's ratings in Spain. We are the number 4 show on ESPN in South America. I mean, it's just been phenomenal. So we looked at this and thought, we've got enough countries watching us that we could put a fighter in from each of these countries. And that's sort of how the Copa, and then we realized that was the famous soccer tournament is the Copa Americas. And we realized we had a Copa Combate. And that this just would be a great idea. So whose idea was it? What do they say? Success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. I think it was a lot of folks had the idea. The truth of the matter is it's really the growth and the evolution of Combate spreading across the Spanish-speaking world that had us come up with the Copa idea. You want to claim credit for the tournament? I'll take credit for the tournament. That was 24 years ago. The Copa Combate is something we just kind of all saw because we've got so many great fighters from so many different countries.